Hi everyone, it's your sewing buddy Lauren. I'm here to talk at you while I sew things and you create things and we work together. Today I am fell stitching the inner seams for the bodice that you saw me in a couple of weeks back. You can see I've got the seam pinned down there. Fell stitching is, I consider it a step up from French seams, which is what I would normally do. The dress in question has a very flat, seamless appearance, so fell seams are pretty much the only way I'm going to accomplish that. And you can see this time I am using a thimble. That's on my middle finger there. That's at the at the suggestion of Bernadette Banner and Noelle, whose videos I follow strongly. I actually got to have a little sewing date with Noelle, and that was fun, just having someone else here to sit on the couch and talk with while she was figuring out her ribbon situation and I was figuring out my sleeve situation. So that worked out really well for both of us. The using a thimble has actually changed my whole, I guess, my positioning for sewing, my stance, my sewing form, I guess you would call it. The way I use the needle and all of that. So it's kind of a trip. I was really slow at first, but it sped up quickly and I can tell that the stitches are actually a lot neater. So what's been going on in my life outside of this? For my goals for the year, I have missed one day of sewing, but then the next day was the sewing date with Noelle, so that kind of, I think, made up for it, and I spent almost all of yesterday sewing as well. So between those two things, I'm feeling fair to call it that I haven't missed a day, but at least I've made up for the day that I did miss. Other things that are exciting and new. For this weekend, I had planned to do a bunch of stuff. Like, I wrote out a to-do list, and then, it was things like dishes, laundry, sew red dress, and so on. But then I broke that down into, like, individual steps, like, put laundry in washer and run, and move laundry to the dryer, and fold clothes, and fill the dishwasher, empty the dishwasher, fell stitch the seams on the sleeves and attach the sleeves and so on. Turned into a 64 item list. So it's Monday, which is my Sunday, and I am nowhere close to getting all of that done. Fell stitching the sleeves took longer than I anticipated because I started using the thimble, so that was the slower part. And then I remembered that I hadn't finished fell stitching the seams on the bodice, so I haven't been able to attach the sleeves yet. But I did make some progress, and all in all, that counts as victory, because it's not like I was sitting on the couch doing nothing all weekend or playing stupid phone games all weekend. I did some of that in the morning, and then, like, by 10 o'clock, I'm up and moving and doing stuff, or sitting and sewing and doing stuff. I'm thinking for next week, or maybe for a couple of weeks, but next week at least, doing a tour of my costuming, like the items that I've made that I still have. I could maybe try them on if they still fit. I've put on a little bit of weight lately. But yeah, that might be fun. If that sounds like fun for you, let me know in the comments and I'll definitely make it happen. If I don't get a lot of feedback, I'll probably, I don't know, I might still do it, or I might think of something else to do, because technically next week should be a tour of some aspect of my sewing life, or some aspect of my life in general. So yeah, let me know if that sounds like an interesting thing. I also finally got up the nerve to share my YouTube channel with my Facebook friends. I mean, I had been sharing like, hey, I put up a new video on my feed, but this time it was an actual like, hey, please come subscribe to my YouTube channel. And There are now 24 more of you, bringing us up to 68, which means I only need 20 more for my yearly goal already, so I may have to expand that goal, or just once I hit 80 something, call it a victory. We'll see how the rest of the year goes. But welcome to my friends. If you do actually watch the videos and aren't just subscribing to support, either way, I appreciate you. And if you do watch, I hope that you get something out of these videos, even if it's just more insight into how Lauren is when she's just talking to herself or to her phone, as it so happens. As you may or may not realize, I'm a couple of months behind now in my costume college sewing plans. I, for some reason, thought this dress was going to take a week, but I think that was before I had planned to fell stitch everything instead of just bag lining it. So that changed things. That pesky doing it right thing, it does in fact take a lot of time, but it's going to be worth it. Like, this is a piece that will probably survive a good long time, and ultimately that is the goal, right? Like, you want pieces that are going to last. You want someone to be able to look back at extant garments from this period in 100 years or so and wonder what the hell we were doing with fashion, because this is a cut from several hundred, or not several hundred, but like 100 years before that. But it's synthetic fabric, and I don't know. I just think that in a few hundred years, the fashion archaeologists or the historical fashion interpreters are going to have fun times. Which is kind of funny to think, like, they didn't do a lot of costuming 100 years ago, did they? Or if they did, it was more on par with current fashions, but with, like, casual cosplay style, I guess. I don't know. If anyone knows more about that, that's something I'm curious about, and I would like to see. I'm sorry that my hands are mostly out of frame in this shot. I did not double check my framing before I sat down. I thought I had. But you can at least get a lovely view of the seam there that I have finished already. Next to me on the couch there, you see my trusty burgundy fleece robe. That has seen me through 10 winters now, something ridiculous like that. It's synthetic fleece, but it's so warm. If I need to take it LARPing, I can waterproof it with Nick Wax. It's one of the first pieces that I made to sell. I did recently make another one for Davio, but I don't do them so much anymore because thick fleece is sort of a pain to sew. And when I'm not actually wearing it for one reason or another, it's a very nice throw blanket. Just, you know, curl up under it and be cozy, watch TV, watch some Critical Role. It's one of my favorite makes, but it's so simple, but I love it. For those who are curious, I did not, in fact, wind up folding all of my fabric after the fabric stash tour. It all just got shoved back on the shelves. It is all on the shelves at this point, which is a step up. It's just not organized or neat. It's yet another chaos jumble of fabrics, but I know what's in there now, and I know vaguely where each piece is, so that was helpful. And also, you all know what I have now, so I guess look forward maybe to seeing some of that in future projects. I haven't set up my next interview yet. If you're a Bay Area local and would like it to be you, let me know and we can set something up. Otherwise, I'm going to have to ask around from my friends and see who's interested in talking about their crafty stuff. it's been kind of fun just like chatting with friends about what they do and realizing that I have a lot of talented friends that I didn't even know they had these talents. So it's useful all around. And then it, I think, gets them thinking more about their craft and, um, getting back to it after if they haven't done it for a while, or new ways that they could explore that. And if you have any follow up questions for anyone I've already interviewed, let me know that as well in the comments. I can pass that along and get answers in my next video. Or maybe if there are a lot of questions for someone, I could do a Q&A with them probably. And that would also be a fun idea. But I think I have rambled long enough. As you can see, the fell stitching is slow going, but progress is being made, I assure you. I'm going to keep working on this. You keep working on what you do. Hit the like button, leave me comments, please subscribe. I congratulate you for seeing this all the way through. I hope that you have created beautiful things and will create more beautiful things this week. Take care of yourself.